Miami Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs. This is 4.5 in favor of the Chiefs at home over the Dolphins. 43.5 to 44 is your total in this market right now. This is a game in which we know these played in Germany on November the 5th. The Chiefs won that game 21-14 in a very, very weird game. We talked about it on the pod. The Chiefs scored all 21 of their points in the first half. That included a defensive score inside of those 21 points. The Dolphins scored all 14 of theirs in the third quarter and were shut out in the other three quarters in the game. Both teams had turnovers. Time of possession was 30-24 to 29-36. So they had the ball the exact amount of times in the game. It's just a odd, weird game that I took absolutely nothing from as I move forward in the handicap with this one. I don't think there was a ton to take from that one either when it came down to it. So, Steven, Dolphins and Chiefs, full disclosure, guys, when this line hit, I put a Dolphins 3.5 in my account. And then when the Jalen Waddle stuff started looking less promising to me, I just cashed it out and bought off of it. And so I have nothing in this game in my account currently on this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's more than Waddle, too. It's 3/4 of their secondary because Xavier Howard's been ruled out. Deshaun Elliott and Javon Holland have been DNPs the entire week, even though they're listed as questionable. Usually when you're DNP the entire week, you're on the wrong side of questionable. So we'll see about them. Mostert and Waddle did get in limited participation all week. If they play, who knows how effective they'll be. This is just a really bad situation. And I haven't even mentioned that they're down their top 3 pass rushers against one of the better pass blocking offensive lines in the NFL and an all-world quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. So if this was in perfect conditions, that would be a terrible situation for the Miami Dolphins. And we're playing in sub-zero temperatures by the end of this game with wind chills in the negative teens, apparently. So forget about long distance field goals in this game. Potentially forget about down the field passing with more wind and extreme cold. It's just going to be an odd kind of smash mouth football type game, it seems. So I tell you all that, and I tell you in perfect conditions, the spread, if you look at what the ratings for these two teams have been all year, probably would have been only Chiefs -2, right? If you give them 2 points for home field at Arrowhead, these two teams are pretty much rated equally for a lot of the season. So if you want to come in on the other side with all this line movement for Kansas City and take the best of the number on Miami, you need to make a good case to me that all of these issues with the injuries and the weather conditions are worth less than 2.5 points. And I don't know how you can make a good argument for that. I also am not sure how you can make a definitive argument the other way either. I mean, this is very expensive for Kansas City. So suffice it to say, I have no opinion on the spread at this point. I think it's just too hard to get any confidence on what the number should be. But I will take a money line parlay on Kansas City at this point with one of the other bigger favorites on Wild Card Weekend and feel really confident about that, Matt.
So, Adam, we look at last week's game in which the Dolphins lose 21-14 to the Bills. The Bills come back, score 14 in the fourth quarter, and people would look at that and say, yeah, but they were, competitive with the Bills, and everyone's high on the Bills, and why are we downgrading them so much? It's because all those injuries that we're talking about, other than Waddle, who didn't play in the game, happened during the game. So they would be heading into this game down a bunch of dudes they actually had in the game against the Bills to start. And so it is a different version, as we were just talking about in our previous handicap. It is even a completely different version of the Dolphins this week than even last week.
So let me ask you guys a couple questions. Going to be real simple answers here, okay? How's Miami generally play against good defenses?
They have not impressed against good teams and good defenses this year.
No, they haven't? Okay. Kansas City a pretty good defense?
Yes.
Matt doesn't want to participate. Matt's out on this one. Matt's not playing along.
That's not a fan of your lead the witness anymore.
I'm looking actually to give the same validation to the Chiefs defense that we were giving to the Browns a little bit earlier. What I will say is the Chiefs defense is not as good as it was the first half of the season. I will say that, but
that
yes,
is
still a good
fair.
defense no matter what. Yes,
that is still 100% fair.
Mm-hmm.
I think Steven already told us, I don't have to ask you again, that the weather is going to be abysmal. One more question. How's Kansas City's offense been this year?
Yeah.
Underwhelming?
Disappointing.
Definitely not overwhelming, maybe whelming, but trending toward underwhelming. Guys, how's this thing still holding at some places at 44? Where are these points coming from? I don't understand.
The names on the game say Chiefs and Dolphins, and I think people are having a hard time letting go of that, Adam.
Even if you think that this becomes a game where Miami can run the ball effectively, which we know they can, and if you want a different angle into this, even if Raheem Mostert is healthy, Devin Achan's getting the carries in this game, and I would be looking toward Achan, especially when it comes to yardage with his ability to break big ones. But overall, we just want to talk spread and total. This game's a dead under to me. I don't really see how we are getting anything more than what we got out of these teams in Germany when they were healthy, and they put up 28 points with a defensive score to take it to 35, and we're still having to get, in some places on the board, to 44 with these two teams. Where's it coming from? Kansas City can't chase. Let's get that narrative way out of our heads. Kansas City is done as a team that can chase. And you know what? As explosive as Miami can be, they haven't chased very well this year either. So I don't really see where it's supposed to come from for Miami or Kansas City in this game. 44 to me feels well high. I realize that because that's a key-ish number and 43 is a key-ish number, I'm not going to go out there and say, oh, play a bunch of alts. No, take the safety and security of what's on the board right now and play under 44.
Adam, would you agree an underrated aspect of this too is just the kicking element when you're in weather like this? Because I think when you're trying to handicap over-unders when you're around this number, we take for granted the field goals when it's like a 45-yard field goal or a 47-yard field goal, God forbid a 50-plus. Like that is nowhere near as automatic in these conditions.
Well, the flip side to that is I want field goals when I have an under, right? I want them settling for field goal tries as opposed to feeling like, oh God, the weather is so bad that we have to go for more fourth downs and increase the chances that drives turn into touchdowns. That to me is more how I look at it. But yeah, on its face, do I want field goals going in if I have an under? No.
So the other angle to me, and this is the only one that I'm pretty sure is going to make it into my account, you can find Patrick Mahomes passing yards as high as 252.5 out there right now. Look, Patrick Mahomes in this offense, as Adam just alluded to, and if you have eyeballs, you've seen this offense hasn't been good all year long. Like this has not been a good offense all season long. And now we're going to throw them in terrible, treacherous conditions in which throwing the ball is likely to be the least optimal way to move the ball in all of this. And so I think 252.5 is too high. I think I'm going to come in on the under on Patrick Mahomes with this. I think I would play this all the way down to like 247 probably. Like I think there's still 5 yards of room in that one. And mainly because, as we just kind of said too, if either one of these teams gets up big, like they're just going to try and take the air out of the ball. Like this is not going to be we're going to continue to like keep our foot on the gas here in these conditions. That's just not how it's going to work, And like, so I also believe that we can get some scenario in which either one of these teams finds themselves up 10 points. And if that were the case, then this thing could really slow down and really be a drag and really have a team just trying to get out the door. So the Mahomes 252.5 to me just seems absurdly too high. And so an underplay for me on that one.